Hello, and welcome back to the FarmCast, brought to you by 21st Century Equipment. I'm Scott Osborne, and I'm sitting here with Mike Wemhoff. Today we're discussing the future and outlook of what precision agriculture looks like. So, Mike.
Thanks, Scott, and thanks for watching and subscribing with us here today on the FarmCast. Currently, certainly farming has evolved a lot in the last really 10 to 15 to 20 years. It's just amazing to see how farming was done previously and now how it's evolved. There's many stories of future generations taking over the farm and how that has now evolved into precision agriculture versus the way things were done in the past. So that's really neat to see in our jobs and within 21st Century how we can help guide them through that journey. So that's very exciting for me, and I know exciting for the entire 21st Century team. Kind of our vision is that really I want to be able to provide precision ag value to our customers. For me, it's all about the value and knowing that precision ag data that's coming off of those machines, it's something that is going to be able to be utilized by the customer to make good decisions for next year or even the current growing season. There's a lot of data coming off of the machines and something that it's different farm by farm as far as how you put that data together. But here at 21st Century, what we're really trying to do is make sure we can put that data together in a package that can be utilized by customers for, either based on the size of the farm itself or, the type of crop they're growing, the variety of crop they're growing, again, to make those decisions for the current growing season or the next growing season. So a lot of exciting things going on in the precision ag space. And for me, I have a background in technology. I'm actually a software developer by trade, and worked for John Deere for quite a few years, both at John Deere Financial and ISG, working on the software on the back end. But why I bring that up is it's something that I think is important for us to understand how these components are working together and then how that data is coming together to produce those insights for our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking back into my history, when I was 8 or 9, my dad had a 4640 tractor and he put a 2630 in there and put the ATU. That was a game changer, and that was magical, man. Back then, I saw something that I'd never seen before. Are we still in a place where that's magical for a lot of people? Or are we, is hardware the driver or is software where we're moving?
So I think the hardware piece has really evolved a lot, and that's maybe not as magical as it once was. It is for some growers, certainly, right. As they're starting to evolve as an organization. So I don't want to discount that by any means. But the software and the data side, I think, is really the next evolution of agriculture and the next evolution of farming, to understand how those insights can really make a difference in an operation.
So I guess to build on that, then how do we get that excitement for the software? Because the same excitement, there's kind of that disconnect at this moment in time. So what is our strategy moving forward to get to that spot?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Our strategy moving forward is really to bring those data points together within the precision ag space at 21st Century. I want my team to have a seat at the table in the off season with a grower, helping to evaluate what happened in the last growing season and help make those decisions for the next growing season. That's really where that value comes into place and where we can really make a difference and get excitement for that data and the software that's behind the scenes doing the work.
Gotcha. So just saying that if we sit down with our customers and show them the value that we can provide as an individual or as a company, we're in a much better spot. And does that bring the excitement that you're hoping it does?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, first off, I think it's very important that we become trusted advisors for our customers. That's what we should be. Yes, we're an equipment dealer, but especially from the precision ag space, we need to be trusted advisors that we have expertise that can help move a particular organization forward. So for me, it's about building trust, becoming a partner with all of our customers, and making sure that we're there and they know we're there to help them grow their business.
As far as the agronomic data part of things, what do you think is the most important step of that process? Is it planting, or is it somewhere else, or is it even more simple than that?
I don't think it's any more simple than that. It's very complex because I think you have to bring in all of the different operations throughout the entire growing season to be able to produce some kind of outcome. What we're looking at is how do we put together data from whether that's a tillage operation through planting, through spraying, and then into harvest. How do you put all that together to produce that insight? And in some crops and some organizations, maybe that doesn't make as much sense to do because of the different crop types, or maybe if you're looking at a row crop versus alfalfa, there's a lot of different types of data, the points that you put together to produce an insight. Each one's a little different, which is the complexity piece of that. Right. So it's definitely not simple, and there's certainly a data analytics piece to this of understanding how those different data points come together.
So in your time at Deere, was there conversations about how we used that overall data to build products to help us do this more efficiently and things like that?
Absolutely. They happened, 10 years ago, and to be honest with you, they're still happening today.
Okay.
And part of that is because of all the new data that we're getting off of different pieces of equipment and what types of information that we have available at our fingertips. The mobile capabilities have come a long ways in the last 10 years as well. So getting that real-time instant information is valuable for our customers, but then also how do you put those data insights together real time to produce a value add that they can make a decision, especially when you're looking at like combine settings or, some of those things that you can change on the fly that are really going to increase yield, make a customer more profitable.
So what do you think is the best way? Because I've seen tillage as a big place where we're growing. We have things that are doing tillage prescriptions and stuff like that now. How do you pitch that to customers? Because tillage has been something super simple. We've been doing it forever.
Sure. Yeah.
So how do you say, hey, you need this, or this would benefit you in whatever way, right?
When you certainly look at the push towards autonomy, tillage is the place that we're starting. And that's something that you have to have a very good work plan set up. You have to have a good prescription set up. All of those things that when you go into the operation, the machine is going to go into the field and you can accurately predict what it's going to do.
Right.
And then, you trust that. And then at that point you can say, well, I can be hands off and go let the machine do its thing. But all of that kind of comes to fruition with that setup information and making sure that we know exactly what's going to happen and you make those plans. And really that's where another piece that we need to really start pushing towards is field boundaries and understanding how those work plans get started for a particular operation. That's all continues to be extremely important as we push towards kind of semi-autonomy and then maybe autonomy for some particular operations.
So I got to ask you though, if you've seen it in person, is it super cool? Is it pretty sweet to see?
It's very cool. It's very cool to see. Just to see an unmanned machine going through the field.
I've never seen that. That's pretty sweet.
It's very cool. It's very cool. And also, especially from the software side, very kind of nerve-wracking because you like, it needs to do its thing, and there really can't be a lot of problems. But a lot of field trials and a lot of proven success with our customers already, utilizing autonomy and utilizing certain pieces of like see and spray, all those different highly technical components of our equipment are just amazing to see. And exciting.
I've seen the see and spray one, and it's just sweet. If you can preach the savings and those type of things, but also just profitability and productivity of those two things are going to make a big difference.
Absolutely.
And if you see a place where we move towards getting guys out of the cab to decrease labor force or do those type of things, as you get there, this is a movement we're going to take. Do you see ag getting bigger or smaller, kind of machine size wise? What are you?
I think it depends on the operation, honestly. Okay. I think the biggest thing just from the sheer equipment side is making sure you have the right size equipment for the operation and for the farm. There's certainly large enough fields that you can put the biggest machine in. There's other fields that maybe aren't as big and it doesn't make sense to do so. I think it's really important to make sure that you have the the value conversations with those customers from the sales side, that we are giving them the right tool to do the job.
And how vital is it that we have that conversation now?
Yeah.
Is it vital now to do
It's
it?
absolutely. I mean, anytime you can, right?
Yeah, right.
You know, as operations continue to grow and change, it's very important that from the 21st century side, we always have that relationship with the customer, whether that's on the sales side or precision ag or service. All those pieces come together for us to be those trusted advisors for our customers.
Yeah, I guess in my personal view, I worked for a competitor here recently. They were really big into water management, and I think that's where, you know, Deere has something for that. But in our area, it's less focused. As we move to a spot where water becomes such a valuable resource, it is so vital. We need to have something to get that ball rolling as far as just managing it properly, because it's such a valuable resource.
Is there, I guess, from your perspective, is there any, you know, precision ag type components or hardware that you've seen success in managing, whether that's water management or maybe it's more prescriptions or fertilizers?
Oh, rate controllers are number one for me. I mean, I come from a flow and application background. I grew up side dressing, you know, and once you see how much you can do with that and manage equipment that way, you are being way more efficient with your dollars, way more efficient with your chemical, and way more efficient with the machine. So those three things are super vital. And then secondarily, having receivers that are getting depth, you know, those two things, so that receivers have a north-south and then a, you know, X and Y axis. So those are the biggest technological things I've seen, probably, as far as how vital they are to what we can change and where we're moving to.
Very good. Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the FarmCast, brought to you by 21st Century. If you guys have any further topics or comments or suggestions, please drop them in the comments below. For me and Mike, signing off.